I'm Ellen with blackfilm.com, and I am chatting with Paula Patton about her new series on BET Plus called Sacrifice. Hi, Paula.
Hi, Ellen. How are you?
I'm so good. I've been looking forward to this conversation because I love sacrifice. Oh my God. And so I want to start off by saying you understood the assignment portraying Daniella Hernandez. She fascinates me.
Thank
It's,
you.
yes. And
That's
so,
awesome.
how would you describe Daniela?
Well, she's a dual personality, right? So there's one, she is this ferocious, fierce, incredibly strong woman, a boss.
Yes.
But also there's this other element, this other side of Daniela that's just a scared little girl that has suffered a lot and is coping with the pain of that loss in interesting ways, as you see at the very beginning of episode one. And so the audience has an interesting point of view with this because the rest of the world in Daniela's world never see that side of her. She always comes correct. The suit is tight, the outfit is right,
Yep.
and she's not to be toyed with. But we, the audience, get to see the Daniela that is suffering, and is trying to figure out her life. And when we meet her, she has become sober. And now that she's not drinking, she's asking herself those questions. What am I willing to sacrifice my soul to do what I've done? Am I willing to turn the blind eye I have in the past? When she drinks, she's like, I can do whatever, right? When you're drinking, I can screw that person over, screw that man, do this, do that. It's all, but now everything's coming into focus and she has to look herself in the mirror and ask some hard questions and come to terms with some things in her life.
And we certainly see that in season one. And so the new series is a continuation of the BET Plus original film with the same title. And the film ends with a pretty big cliffhanger. Now, is it safe to assume that a series was always planned?
You know what? It was always a wish.
Okay.
Yes. When we made the film, we always hoped that it would be a film. I mean, a television show.
Yeah.
That was always the hope. Yes.
And so
And
with
that's such the because that ending, and that's I was determined. I was like, what do you need? I mean, we have to make this a series. I would never
exactly.
end a movie like this. You can't leave people like this. It's terrible.
Yeah, that was
So
torture walking away from that, thinking like, wait, are we going to get more of this? And so with that potential possibility in mind, how did that aid the process of developing Daniela's journey?
well, yeah. I mean, I think once we got the nod that we could make the TV series, we knew we'd have to answer some questions, and we also had a chance to kind of really delve a little deeper into Daniela and why she behaves the way she behaves, into her relationships with men and relationships with other people, and then what's really great about the season one, is that we start to see this family that has always rejected her comes into light. And that was something I was really this grandpa character, and I won't give away too much, but when Richard Roundtree comes in as her grandfather, you start to understand some other things and things that Danielle has been dealing with that have been quite difficult, because there's this whole other family, and her parents were sort of Romeo and Juliet, these two people that shouldn't have been together, and no one wanted to be together. And her grandfather has said to her mother, if you end up with this man, I will disown you. And once both of her parents dies, even though she's left alone, this family does not come to be with her. And so it's not until her adulthood that she gets reintroduced to this family. And you'll have to watch the series to see where that goes.
I mean, there's so many things that I love about the series and love about who Daniela is and how she shows up. And that's a huge nod to the ownership and the full command that you have of this character. Oh my God. So can you talk a bit about the balancing of Daniela's character traits? Because there are a lot. I think her compartmentalizing skills are incredibly impressive. So I'm curious to hear, how that preparation process was for you.
Yes. I mean, gosh, it was interesting. There were some things that were challenging because Daniela has the ability to turn off her heart, and that's because of her childhood. She also has learned how to not feel pain, and to accomplish her goals. And so that's not like me at all. I'm all heart. I'm all heart. But these elements, but her tenacity and her um unwavering knowledge that she can accomplish something, that she, if she puts her mind to it, she will accomplish it. She won't let anything get in her way. She is really confident human being.
Yes.
And that was something that I was like, I love this being, and I definitely didn't have that in me. Not quite like that. Not, no, I'm not gonna lie to you. So Daniela started to be this thing I looked to when I had to have a difficult conversation with someone. I'd be like, hold up a second, what would Daniela do?
Right.
I'm like, all that soft talk, Paula, relax. Let's bring Daniela into the occasion, because she would not have it, not for 1 second. And so I started to do a lot in my own personal life of what would Daniela do? And now let's not she does morally questionable things, and that I don't delve into. But that determination and that confidence that she has was something that was really appealing to me.
Same here. I mean, I did walk away from this series feeling like, okay, it's kind of like MacGyver. Like, what would MacGyver do in this situation? What would Daniela do? And I felt as though I was watching Paula Patton live her real life on screen. Like, that's like the lines were blurred so well. And I really loved that because it helped me relate to this, you know, feared, admired, and flawed character. Are there any correlations between Paula and Danielle that might have informed the character?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, I think the healing journey that Danielle is on, I have had similarly before I started doing that show. I definitely have had a moment in my life over the last 3 years where I had to look at myself, and I had to ask myself, what are these patterns from your past you have to undo? You know,
Yeah.
how can you better your life? How can you live a more peaceful life, less suffering? And so I took that with me as I played this character. And now she's actually in the thick of it. Now I had kind of gotten to a place of peace once I started to play her, but then it was really kind of wonderful because it was a cathartic experience to live it again through Daniela, and to see and to know, I do know what it is, a person that looking at their life anew, and how can I maybe make it better,
Yeah.
and change. And so Daniela, you know, she wobbles a bit. and she's and she doesn't always stick with, you know, this new way that she wants to accomplish her goals, but she certainly has a desire to become a better human being, you
And
know.
we see that, and that
Yeah.
comes across. And so thinking about the cast synergy, which was incredible, with your immediate team at work, the chemistry between Daniela and DA Beverly Rucker, who is played by Erica Ash. How was that working relationship? Did you all know each other prior to this project, or did you all meet on this project and then the chemistry happened?
We actually all met on this project, at least for me. Maybe some other people knew each other, but I met everybody for the first time on this project. But the good thing is we had done the movie together. So when we all came together for the show, we were all just so excited, so grateful to be able to make the series. We wanted to do that. And so it felt like a family by the time we were all working together. And we just all put our heart, you know, blood, sweat, and tears into this. We really wanted to be something special. We all cared that much. And it was, I love playing with Eric Ash because it was an interesting relationship between two women, because we called it frenemies. You know, there's a sisterhood between them, but there's also obviously a lot of conflict there. And as the series develops, you'll see it's a very deep, interesting relationship the two of them have. It's not what you think it is when you start the series. How it ends I don't want to give it away, but
Right.
it changes in a really unique way, I think, and to show female relationships. I mean, in a really interesting way, which allows us to also go into their past, which is fun.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed 100%. I also love the relationship between you and V. Bozeman's character. She plays your assistant, Tamika. And there's such a level of like mutual respect between boss and employee that it doesn't even feel like that's what it is. It feels like you guys are sisters or family. Can you talk a bit about that dynamic with V. Bozeman?
Yeah. Oh God, I love V. Bozeman. And she brings the comedic element to the show
Yeah.
in such a wonderful way. I love, she has Daniela's back through and through. And see, that's what it is that Daniela didn't have a family, right? Her parents died so young. So she sort of created this family. And V. Bozeman's character, she's her sister. Her bodyguard is like her brother. Do you know? Someone is like her little brother. Do you know what I mean? But she has built her own family, and then she's going to meet her real family. But these folks are the ones she created, and it's quite special. But V and I would always talk about this rhythm. They have to have a rhythm together. Like, she knows what I'm thinking and what I'm going to say before I'm going to say it, and she's the eyes and back of my head. And we'd always be talking about how could we, I don't know, do a dance. I think that's what we wanted to do when we played together, was dance and kind of make a little music. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
That had to have a rhythm between the two. And there's a genuine love that her and I share for each other as human beings outside of the work. So hopefully that comes through on the screen as well.
It does. And you know what also comes on screen? The fashion, the wardrobe. It's its own character, if you will. How would you say Daniela uses her wardrobe to her advantage, or not?
Daniela's wardrobe is so important to her. I mean, that is her armor. Really, that's how she goes to war. And it was so important to me to play that character, because Paula would come in my Birkenstocks in the morning, no makeup on, and then I come out of hair and makeup, and I was Daniela. Yeah. And I remember, the DP would be like, "Oh, you don't have to wear your heels." If they were doing a shot from the waist up. And I was like, "Oh, no, I have to wear my heels. I don't feel like Daniela until my feet were mad at me." But but it was like every part of it, put on the coat, put on the shoe. And then I became her. But then it was interesting. Also, her character has a moment where she takes that away, and that's when you start to see this other side of Daniela, this Daniela that craves the love of a mother and a father so deeply, that feels so alone. And then you see this little girl, and there's another element that, we won't give too much away, but that's a whole other costume that comes on. But Daniela's clothes are a very important part of her persona. Yeah, which was fun for me because I love clothes, girl.
No, it was fun to watch. I was looking at the outfits like, oh, wow, okay, I see how I can put that together. I can do this. It was inspirational on so many levels, right? More so than the storytelling, but the fashion told its own story.
Yeah, well, and the fashion, I think when wardrobe is good, it does tell its own story. There is an art. It's not just for the fun of it. When you really put your attention and eye on the wardrobe, it can tell its own story. Yeah. Beautifully.
You know who I would love to see on screen together? Daniella Hernandez and Marilyn Madame DeVille, played by Eva Marseille in All the Queen's Men. They are two formidable characters. I already have the episode mapped out in my mind. So BET Plus and Christian Keys, holler at me.
I love it. Season 2. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. And so Sacrifice premieres exclusively on BET Plus this Thursday, November 4th. Folks, you will not be disappointed. Paula Patton is a beast in Sacrifice. Thank you so much for talking with me.
I'm very grateful. Made my day. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
All right, you too, my love.
Bye.